I would like to read you folks an article today. An article that I can say with a high degree of safety is one of the stupidest things I have read all year. And given the shit that I have seen and read this year, that says a lot. This is an article from our good friends at VG247, a video game website that openly hates gamers. I don't know how they exist, quite frankly. And the article is by Kirk McKeand. That name may sound familiar because that's the same jackass who got extraordinarily pissed off that the Sony Spider-Man game decided to put in the Sam Raimi outfit that people were saying they'd like to see as DLC or some download later on, because it was giving people what they wanted. And that's bad, okay? And you'll notice he still carries that salt with him to this day. Without further ado, I give you game developers. It's time to stop listening to the fans. Oh, is it now? Is it really? Hey, game developers, you know those people that actually pay for the shit that you make? Yeah, stop listening to them. That makes perfect business sense. I'm gonna have so much fun with this. I can already tell. Don't get mad. There's a bit of hyperbole in that headline. Oh, you don't say! Among all the detritus of the internet, the occasional bit of useful feedback exists. How gracious of you to admit that there is some actual good feedback from the internet. Wow, must have taken like all of your willpower to reach that level, buddy. It's just that the shit floats to the top until it's all you can see. All that you can see, maybe. Maybe if you stop sucking on game developer cock, you'd see that people have a few good opinions every now and again. But let's go on. BioWare has a lot to answer for, basically. Mass Effect 3 feels like ground zero for toxic fan entitlement. And I'm going to very quickly just stop right there. Fuck this article already. Every single time Mass Effect 3 is brought up, it's entitlement. Let me tell you something here, bucko. Because this seems to have been lost through all of the years. Because you people keep lying about this, or willfully forgetting, to the point where the lie is now the accepted reality amongst you journalist types. Well, the Mass Effect 3 devs said point blank in video interviews that the ending for Mass Effect 3 would not be a choose one of three ending. And do you know what we got? Coincidentally, we got a choose one of three ending that was bare bones different. I'm talking like 5 seconds of different footage between each of the three endings. That's it. So when a product maker lies about the product that they are selling, it is not the consumer's fault for then being pissed off that they were lied to about what they purchased. There's a reason that that is illegal. Okay? Moving on. I'm sure the developer was just trying to do the right thing, but it changed the ending of its game due to negative feedback. No, it changed the ending of its game because the ending allegedly, the ending that they put in was the ending that they wanted to put in, but they couldn't because EA rushed the game out. But officially, because they fucking lied in interviews, you idiot! Bending its creative vision to pander to the baying masses. Just watch what I said 5 seconds ago. This rarely happens in any other medium. Sure, you could point at the Sonic movie changing his appearance over criticism, but it's the video game crowd once again. No, that was the movie crowd too. Anyone who looked at that was like, Jesus Christ, this is ugly. Elsewhere, people have petitioned to have the last season of Game of Thrones remade, but HBO would never do that, because it's absurd. Changing an ending, like 15 minutes of cutscenes, is not 6 hours of TV show. That's not even the same fucking ballpark, you jackass. And yes, Game of Thrones has made changes based off of fan feedback. The fucking coffee cup. Like it or not, the vast majority of video game players just do not understand game development. Oh, happy day, let's see where this goes. If a game doesn't run well, it's bad optimization. If thousands upon thousands of people are saying that the game does not run well, they all have different systems, they all have different configurations, and they are saying that the game runs like shit, the pattern here is that it runs like shit. If a few people are saying that it runs bad and they have very similar setups, like same graphics card and memory configuration, or just some combination that does not work, but everyone else does, that you can say that it's their fault. If thousands upon thousands of people are saying that it runs like shit, Ark, for example, then it fucking runs like shit. If there's a lack of features, it isn't down to development constraints and deadlines, it's lazy developers. Most of the time, we don't say lazy developers, we say greedy publishers. The Sims 4, for example, is a great case example of that. We never blamed Maxis for what happened with Sims 4. We blamed EA. And then EA killed Maxis. I don't know what world you're living in where you strawman things that don't even exist. It's unbelievable. It really is. But carrying on. That's not a dig at the gaming audience. Good joke. Really. It's just that video games are a complex chimera of publisher goals, developer goals, and the realities of working with an ever-shifting vision. Okay. You can say that about any fucking thing, and yet somehow everything else gets made relatively well. It's video games that end up being shit. Why is that? It's like molding a jar from clay on a roller coaster. What a weird fucking analogy. Games are a broken mess right up until launch, when the roller coaster finally comes to a halt and the clay stops flopping around like one of those car dealership balloons. And developers are usually aware of the major issues they launch with. No, they're not. No, they're not. First of all, back in the day, back in my day, they actually had the games done and optimized to a relatively stable degree when they launched them, because they couldn't patch it after the internet. They had to have an expansion pack do the patching. So they only got one shot. This is why I really don't like the internet. The fact that a lot of companies have come to rely on the internet existing. They basically are like, release it in whatever fucking state it's in. We can patch it later. I saw that coming in the fucking 90s when that first started. And yet, people said that I was crazy, that would be financial suicide for companies. Well, who's laughing now? But more importantly, your main point, and developers are usually aware of the major issues they launch with. No, they aren't. No, they straight up are not. Especially if it's a multiplayer game. They are factually unaware of the issues at launch because they are a very small, limited team. Even if you have like 1,000 people working on a game, which is almost unheard of, that is pennies. That is a drop in the bucket compared to the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that will be playing within the first week. And they are the ones that find all of the unbalanced, broken shit, because that is too much to sift through for developers. And I'm not there, I will actually defend. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because there's a lot of weird shit that players figure out, do, that the game was never really, that the developers never really thought about or intended, but can be done. And that leads to a lot of crazy shit. So I get that. I really do. But to say that they know there are issues at launch, bull fucking shit. Okay? Things are often cut or changed. Some things don't work. Some things work better than expected and are expanded upon. Nobody wants to release a bad game. Except for all the, as Steam has put it, fake games that are on Steam meant to just be a funnel for trading card money or achievement money or whatever else the fuck that they get from these really quick, cheap games that have high turnover rates and quick turnover rates. But being fair, that's not what you're talking about. You're talking primarily about AAA, so moving on. Nobody wants the ending of their critically acclaimed sci-fi trilogy to be ill-received. Then actually write the ending that you... Then don't write the ending that you said you wouldn't write. For fuck's sake. You often see video game fans come to the defense of game developers if certain story beats in a game are criticized. If they're criticized for the stupidest of reasons. Like, oh, well, you killed a black person because they're black. You're racist. That's fucking bullshit. That's the color of the skin of the person I just killed does not fucking matter unless it's point blank said, oh, you're doing this because you hate black people. I've seen controversy after controversy after controversy where the gaming media has taken the absolute worst opinion of a developer because political motives or narrative. That's why we come to the defense of these people. Because you are the ones that are taking stuff completely out of context and filling in the most malicious thing you can think of. So we have to. We're the ones that are trying to bring some reality back to the situation. And you're going to try and take the moral high ground on this. Fuck off. Criticism is just that. Pointing out that something could be better. Then what's your complaint when fans criticize something? Exactly. It's not asking for something to be changed. It is in your case. It's a talking point, a hopefully deeper reading of a game that might help you see it from another angle. Yet when a critic points out issues with the handling of certain themes, a portion of the audience cries censorship. Yeah, because the way that you do it is is an attempt at censorship. When you say, that's racist, that's sexist, that's misogyny. Okay, how'd you fix that then? Well, the only way to do that is to take it out. You mean the exact thing you just said you aren't doing. You mean censoring it, which is the thing that you just said that you aren't doing, but are trying to do. Uh-huh. I feel like this entire article is just projection. You do all this shit, so you're saying that the fans do it, and you are trying to stand on the moral high ground, so you're saying that you do what fans do. That's what this feels like. You completely reverse the roles, trying to make it seem like you are the good guy and we are the bad guys. Then they go off and create petitions to get games changed. No one takes those seriously. No one. They're jokes. Everyone creates a petition over everything. Welcome to the internet in 2019. We got, you get a petition and you get a petition. Everybody gets a petition. Insert Oprah meme here. Part of the issue here is how our industry feeds into this entitlement. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Whether it's PlayStation saying it's for the players, heavens, a console manufacturer saying that it makes consoles for the people that buy consoles. What heresy. Or it's Xbox head Phil Spencer saying stuff like, games and gamers together now have the sheer magnitude to be a significant unifying force for the world. That one I'll give you. That's a bunch of gobbledygook executive speak. Whatever that means, our industry goes out of its way to say that the customer is always right. Do you know what other industry goes out of its way to say that the customer is always right? All of them! Every single industry where you are trying to sell something, the customer is always right. In private, they will say, except they're a bunch of fucking retards. But to the face of the public, they always say, the customer is always right. Because that's how a consumer-based industry works. If you piss off the people that are buying your shit, they will stop buying your shit. And then you are broke. Do I need to explain basic fucking economics? Metal Gear Solid 4, the worst game in the series, that's debatable, was a game for the fans. People hated Metal Gear Solid 2 at launch because it forced you to play as floppy-haired newcomer Raiden instead of Solid Snake. Yeah, that part of the game was noticeably worse than the part where you play as Snake. That's undeniable. Metal Gear Solid 4 put players back in Snake's sneaking boots, but the game was basically an extended bit of fan service. Are we just going to ignore Metal Gear Solid 3, where you played as Snake but not Snake the entire game? Or okay. Elsewhere in The Bad Place, some gamers actually petitioned Obama to get DMC pulled from shelves because they wanted a traditional Capcom sequel and not the Ninja Theory reimagining. Once again, I will say, yeah, welcome to the fucking internet. There are petitions every the fuck where. By the way, what the fuck do you mean by The Bad Place? Dear Mr. Obama, as a consumer to the video game industry, there is one video game that has caused a lot of controversy over the past few months, the petition said. Grammatical errors and all. The name of the game is DMC Devil May Cry, made by Ninja Theory and Capcom. A majority of gamers are aggravated that this game has changed so much from its past predecessors, and the game actually insults the consumers in-game. We, as consumers, did not want nor need this reboot, and we believe it violates our rights to have a choice between the originals or the reboot. This game is violating our rights as a consumer, and we believe it should be pulled off shelves from game stores due to its insulting nature and the fact that it violates our rights. Please, Mr. Obama, look into your heart and make the decision that will please us gamers. That's what you're complaining about. That reads like a parody. If anybody took that seriously, they deserve to be roasted for that. That reads like a joke, and anyone that reads that would just laugh at it. No one should take that seriously. Are you kidding me? That actually, I'm not kidding, that actually sounds like a parody. I would not be shocked if I looked up who made that and that it was made as a parody. Because if that is serious, oh God, get that guy checked out. Because he needs help. Then there's Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh boy. A game taken down by GIFs. Development focus was on creating worlds and learning how to use an entirely new engine that isn't well suited to RPG development. Yes, this is what people have been saying from the get-go. Stop using the fucking... I forget what it's called right now. The Frostbite engine. Stop using the fucking Frostbite engine. It doesn't work. As such, the facial animation suffered, and people took the piss in GIFs. Yeah. People... The internet is gonna meme. So? Back in the day, it was a given that RPGs didn't look as nice as other games because of the scope. Look at the Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect trilogy. For when it was released, it looked pretty damn good. That's the key here. The BioWare is known for actually making good-looking games. I really don't get this point that you're making, that, oh, well, RPGs look bad because they do more. No, that's... Companies know how to make a game look good and have a lot of content to them. There are excuses, sure, like The Witcher 1. That was a very small game made by a relatively newcomer. And then The Witcher 2, they got a budget, and woo, that looks so much better. You can do both. You can. It is not impossible to do an RPG that looks good. I don't get where this idea that RPGs have to look bad because they do so much comes from. It's just so weird. Nowadays, everything looks nice because developers want their games to look good in screens rather than communicate what makes the game special. What do you mean nowadays? Fucking Alien Isolation and Gearbox. They fucking lied about that shit. There's a term for this. It's called bullshitting. Or bullshotting. Bullshit screenshots. Companies have been doing this for every genre beyond the test of time. Fucking... What was it? There was a PlayStation game series originally released on the PS2. The sequel kept getting pushed off, and then it was released on the PS3, and this was back in 2008. They showed some footage of what they said was in-game footage to show off the power of the PS3, and then when we actually got the game, it ran nothing like that. For the life of me, I can't remember what the game is right now. Someone will say it in the comments. But people have been doing this for decades. This is nothing new. BioWare's next game, Anthem, looked incredible at the expense of everything else. You actually think that the reason Anthem is bad is because they try to make it look good? Let me clue you in on something, buddy. It doesn't even look good. That ain't an excuse. Even if it was, there are so many issues with Anthem that go beyond, oh, well, they took extra time to make it look good. This is a game that is fundamentally broken from the base up. I can go on a long tangent about what the fuck is wrong with Anthem, but I don't want to make another half hour out of this video, so I'm just going to go past that and say, it ain't that it looked good, because it don't look good. It appeared to be a direct reaction to that negative feedback, those viral GIFs of goofy character expressions. I want to know what you're smoking, because apparently it's really good. Look at any online game community, and there's always someone complaining about how their character isn't strong enough, or how the character who can counter their hero is too strong. Welcome to the internet. You wanted online games, this is what you get. There will be dozens of posts about how their favorite weapon doesn't do enough damage, or how another weapon is OP. I feel like this is directed at Blizzard. There will also be another player somewhere typing out the exact opposite. Once again, welcome to the internet. You wanted online games. This is unfortunately what you get. Here's what you do. You ignore those people. Those random people that are saying things that are not in line with reality, you ignore. When it's thousands upon thousands of people that are saying the same thing, then you can go, okay, yeah, this seems like a problem. And trust me, there are many, many times where it's thousands upon thousands of people, not the one random guy who got upset because he got beat. These aren't professional game developers, and they just want to make their very narrow experience of a game better for them, not for everyone else. I just explained that. Game balancing for an online shooter is far more complex than toggling things for the sake of it. Unless they actually do just toggle things for the sake of it. Which they have. Many times in the past. Look at how Fortnite constantly pipes in new weapons and zaps them off because they're too disruptive. You can't just tweak and see what happens, especially if your game is seriously played at a competitive level. People playing Fortnite at a serious competitive level. Okay. Whatever you say, buddy. How can you filter anything usable that your actual experts haven't already considered from all that noise? Because the experts, the people that make the game and make all these weapons, the games, their interactions, they don't take into consideration every fucking thing. This is not just video games. Magic. Magic is the exact same fucking way. They have made so many cards over the 2+ decades now that they forget that there is some random card somewhere that if they were to use it with another very old card, it would break the game. My point is, you can never please everyone. That's what we've been saying. Don't please everyone. Please the majority of your player base. There will always be pushback on anything you do, and people only generally say something on the internet if they're pissed off. Ah yes, the positive reviews that the Assassin's Creed game got for having a so many fucking frame accurate rendering of Notre Dame. The people were only talking about that because they were pissed off. I can list further examples, but I think that proves my point. Check out our comments section for example. I would like to repeat, I question how VG247 is a video game website when they openly hate video gamers. But also to go on another point with this paragraph. The point is, you can never please everyone. This reads like, so please me, the game journalist, the critic. You should be sucking my dick, not theirs. There's a quote that's often attributed to Henry Ford around the dawn of commercial motor vehicles. If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. People are generally afraid of change. I'm not sure how... I'm kind of confused how people being afraid of change relates to criticism of something if it's bad or broken. But okay, let's see where this goes. New ideas always get a bit of pushback. It makes me worry whether this environment of fan feedback development is holding back AAA game development from reaching its true potential. If it weren't for fucking people pushing back on shit, do you know how bad microtransactions, loot boxes, DLC, all that shit would be right now? This is what we have after Pushback. This is what we have after millions of people have made it clear that this shit is overdone. This is what we have after people have shouted to the heavens that this shit is completely and totally unsustainable and just wrong on every feasible level. Imagine what it would be if no one had ever said anything. Do you know how far the gaming industry would have pushed? You'd have to pay $100 for the game. Then every microtransaction would be $20. DLC would come out every fucking week. You'd maybe get an alpha for the full $100 that you paid. And then they'd piecemeal off the game until you got the fucking full release for another $500. But no. Change is good no matter what. I am a progressive. I should know. All progress is good. Like that time that we progressed to the nuclear missiles. I fucking hate this guy. I was one of the first people to laugh at Microsoft's vision of the original Xbox One. Digital only? Online only? The cloud? What on earth were they talking about? You regressive! You dirty, dirty conservative, you. Don't you know all change and progress is good? What do you want, to just ride around on horses all day instead of driving in a car? You dirty so-and-so. Yet now, in 2019, almost all of my games are digital. Because you don't have a fucking choice. I can promise you, if I had a choice, if the PC games were still sold physically, I would buy them up each and every fucking time. But they aren't. If you do, if the clouds do part and the heavens shine their light upon you, and you can find a physical copy of a PC game, there's nothing in it. It's just a fucking code to activate on Steam. I'm always connected to the internet. What a shock. Sure, the Kinect was a bust, but the rest was genuinely forward-thinking. You live in California, don't you? You live in an apartment where they have fiber net in California, don't you? Or wherever you live, you have like Google Fiber or some other kind of 1 gigabyte fiber internet, don't you? Because to the majority of the country, there is not enough net speed to cover what the Xbox One would have required. And Google Stadia is wanting to do what the Xbox One originally wanted to do. It's not feasible. Even today, it's not feasible. The rise of crowdfunded games has only made this community-driven development more prominent. Of course. What stretch goals do you want? How should we shape our game to suit you, the gamers? I think it's time our industry moved away from this mindset and started thinking about what we're going to replace our horses with. You really don't get it, do you? Especially with crowdfunded games, those games would not exist right now if it weren't for the fucking people that paid for an idea of a game to come out. The people, those people are basically investors. Especially with crowdfunding, you are barking up the wrong tree about you shouldn't listen to people because those people are investors. That's like saying, oh, well, don't listen to the stock market, guys. You should just follow your dreams and never listen to the people that are pouring tens and hundreds of millions of dollars into your corporation. I'm very much against the mega investor over expectations that are thrust upon these development studios. But even I'm saying, at some point, you have to listen to people writing the checks. This entire article is just one giant stop listening to the gamers. They're getting what they want and I'm not, and it upsets me. That's how this reads. That's how all of this read. This is projection and straw manning to a degree I could not think possible. And I know that the entire point of this is basically to rage bait. He is hoping to get enough people angry that they view the article, they click on it, they give it ad money. That's it. That's all there is to it, which is why I'm posting the archive to it. Ha ha! But it's just, this is something that the gaming media actually seems to think. They get pissed off whenever a developer actually does what people want, the people that pay for them, rather than the media who are given the game for free. Because the people that pay for the games, again, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here, they're the ones that give money. Strange concept, I know. Capitalism. I know that the capitalism is this weird foreign thing to you communist fucks, but that's the world we live in, okay? This article is just so bad and so stupid. And I can't believe I've gone on for almost 40 fucking minutes complaining about it. I can, because I know I can talk, but I digress. I'm sure in another couple of months we'll see yet another article from this guy talking about how he's upset that some game included something that people wanted, or some game changed or fixed something that people were complaining about. It's going to be this whole cycle all over again. I'll give this guy credit. He's actually open to admitting what the entirety of the gaming media is thinking. I don't know how he has a job because of that, because there are some things you should just keep to yourself. This is how our gaming media actually thinks, and it's just mind-blowing that these people think or say that they speak for us. No, we speak for ourselves. You people are completely and totally irrelevant. The world doesn't need the gaming media anymore. YouTubers have replaced you jackoffs. Because you idiots didn't listen to us. You just do whatever the fuck you want, and it screwed you guys up, so now you're just throwing a hissy fit. Because you don't have all the power and influence anymore. Well, tough shit. Maybe next time you will learn at your fast food job that the customer is always right. Now, you'd be so kind as to fuck off with this don't listen to the customers bullshit. Thank you. This has been Math Machine going on a nearly 40 fucking minute rant about one of the stupidest articles I have read this entire year, which I will repeat is an amazing feat in and of itself. I'm gonna go strangle my voice, because it's about to do that to me. Peace out.